everyone, I'm Jono and welcome to Trading with Master Jack. In this video, we're going to be dealing with three questions concerning pips. Number one, what is a pip? Number two, what is a pipette? And number three, how to calculate the value of a pip. So stay tuned. What is a pip in Forex? Pips are the units used to measure movement in a Forex pair. A Forex pip is usually equivalent to a one-digit movement in the fourth decimal place of a currency pair. So if the Euro USD moves from 1.14383 to 1.14393, then it has moved a single pip. The decimal places shown after the pip are called fractional pips, or sometimes pipettes, which we will deal with after this. Just to illustrate this example, the Euro USD 1.14383 moves to 1.14393. The fourth decimal place movement from 8 to 9 was 1 pip. The exception to this rule is when the quote currency is listed in much smaller denominations, with the most notable example being the Japanese yen. Euro movement in the second decimal place constitutes a single pip. So if the Euro Japanese yen moves from 105.362 to 105.372, again it has moved a single pip. To illustrate it, we've got the Euro and Japanese yen, 105.362 moves to 105.372. In the second decimal place, it has moved a single pip. Number two, what is a pipette in Forex? There are Forex brokers that quote currency pairs beyond the standard 4 and 2 decimal places to 5 and 3 decimal places. They are quoting fractional pips, also called points or pipettes, which is equal to a tenth of a pip. To illustrate this with the Euro USD, you see there it's 1.14382 moves to 1.14383. In the fifth decimal place, and this is a movement of 1 pipette. So it's a pretty straightforward one actually. And just to give you an overall picture of pip value, you'll see here on a currency quote of the Euro and USD here, where the 1 before the decimal place is 10,000 pips, and the first place after the decimal mark is 1,000 pips. Second decimal place is 400 pips. The third decimal place is 30 pips, and the fourth decimal place is 8 pips. Then we have the fifth decimal place, which is actually 0.2 pips, or 2 pipettes. Now here comes the exciting part, how to calculate pip value. Let's say the pound in US dollar is currently trading at a market price of 1.5, keeping it simple. And you have a mini lot of 10,000 that you are buying. I deal with lots in what is Forex trading. In that video, we explain that there's a standard lot of 100,000 units, a mini lot of 10,000, and a micro lot of 1,000 units, and a nano lot of 100 units. So yes, we are now we're buying a lot of 10,000, a mini lot. So the value of a pip is calculated by taking the pip value, or the pip decimal place of 0.0001, and you divide it by the exchange rate, that is 1.5, and then we times that by the lot, how many we bought, that's 10,000 units, and that gives us our value, 0.6667. I rounded it off there because it goes on for a couple sixes there, pounds. So therefore this means that for every pip of movement, your trade would earn or lose 0.6667 pounds. But when trading spot Forex, the pip value is usually defined by the quote currency, which is US dollar in this example. The calculation for the value of 1 pip of movement in the quote currency is simply 10,000, taking the lot, times the pip position of 0.0001, because we're working out for 1, and that then gives us $1 US. Pretty straightforward. In this case, for every pip of movement, your trade would generate $1 of profit or loss. Alternatively, you could multiply your quote currency pip value, that is this one over here, the 0.6667, and you can multiply that by the current exchange rate as well, which is the pound and US dollar. Example of that one, there's that 0.6667 times 1.5, and that also would give you $1 US. But what if you are trading a non-USD pair, like the pound and the Swiss franc? Let's say the pound and Swiss franc is trading at 1.18650, that is 1 pound to 1.18650 Swiss francs, and you have a mini lot of 10,000 units. The value of a pip is calculated by taking the 0.0001, which is the position of 1 pip, divided by the exchange rate of 1.18650, and then you multiply it by 10,000, that is your lot, and that'll give you this value of 0.84281 pounds. So therefore this means that for every pip of movement, your trade would earn or lose 0.84281 pounds, much similar to the previous example. But here comes the change when we have to figure it out in the US dollar. But what if your account with a broker is not pounds, but instead is US dollars? Then you would simply take the quote currency pip value and multiply it by the relevant exchange rate. So example, the pound and US dollar exchange rate is say 1.5. In other words, 1 pound is equal to 1.5 US dollars. You can calculate it as follows. You take your result over here, that was the quote currency pip value that we had, 0.84281 pounds, and we multiplied by the US dollar, by the relevant currency pair of the pound and US dollar, and that'll give us 1.26422 US dollars. In this case, for every pip of movement, your trade would generate 1.26422 US dollars of profit or loss. In conclusion, your broker may have a different convention for calculating pip values relative to lot size, but whatever way they do it, they'll be able to tell you what the pip value is for the currency you are trading at that particular time. In other words, they do all the math calculations for you. As the market moves, so will the pip value, depending on what currency you are currently trading. And therefore, to try and track it for yourself, the pip values can be quite a headache and a complex process because there's a number of currencies involved and they're continually changing. So understanding how pip value is good to know where it comes from, but is ultimately not needed, as it'll just consume too much time to keep up with pip values. So leave it to the broker and focus on getting good trade setups. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe button so that you don't miss out. Happy trading, and may the trend be with you.